G'day Gooners, and welcome back to another episode of the podcast. I'm joined here by George, of course, and today we're a bit late to the game, but we're going to be talking about our away match in the Champions League against Slavia Prague. 3-0 win, another clean sheet, 3 goals this time. Obviously, Merino. We will get onto that, of course. But George, how are you feeling today?
Yeah, no, I have to apologize for why the podcast is late because it is totally my fault. I have been diagnosed with the man flu. So I've been under the weather the last few days, but I'm feeling better now. And yeah, my apologies, but I'm well. How are you?
I'm good. Feeling good. Bit knackered after today. Pretty busy, but I actually have a theory as to why you became sick, and it's because so George has this thing, right? At the moment, we're not conceding any goals. As soon as that penalty got given against us, George actually had an allergic reaction,
Yeah,
and obviously it got
struck by the plague,
overturned.
by the plague, the Prague. That's good.
But yeah, anyway, enough of that. Let's get into the game because
Enough of that
3-0
nonsense.
win. I mean,
Yeah.
what was your score prediction? Because mine was 1-0. I really thought it was going to be a close, cagey, tough, hostile European away game, but it ended up being really comfortable in the end, actually.
Hang on a sec. Yours wasn't 1-0. I
It
predicted
was.
2-0, and then you predicted. Didn't you think it was going to be a smashing, or was that the week before?
No, that was
I
the
thought
week
it was.
before. I said 4-0
Okay.
Burnley, but it was 1-0. I said 1-0.
You're right. I
Yeah.
think I think I went with 2-0. I think is what
Yeah,
I've
I
been
think
going
so.
with 2-0 recently. And yeah, no, I was nearly there, but they did one better. So yeah, really well done to the boys. What a result. Hard place to go. In terms of the game itself, I thought the first 10, 15 minutes, we found it pretty tough. They were pressing pretty well. Um, we weren't really the same old story, really. We weren't moving the ball quick
Mm,
enough. I, I'm not sure if you noticed this, but Saliba's positioning was very interesting
mm,
during that game because
yeah.
usually it's one of our fullbacks who will step into midfield, but a lot of the time he was the one who was taking initiative and becoming that central midfielder, almost similar to what like John Stones would do for a Man City. Um, and the reason that is, Mikel went on to say in his post match, was that it had something to do with the way that Prague press and their strikers' movements. So my gut would be Saliba was trying to take away the striker from pressing our centre backs by being a midfielder almost,
Mm,
which was interesting because obviously Timber and Hincapie.
yeah,
Sorry, I'm
Gabby.
just trying to think who
Okay.
started the game. Hincapie were playing alongside Gabriel in our build-up, um, which I found interesting.
Yeah, it was definitely interesting, and it's so good to see that. I mean, we think that he's evolved, he has all these tactics, and he just keeps coming out with these new things, especially our defense. There's so many things to talk about with this defense this season. We are saying
Yeah,
that Timber has that free roaming role, then all of a sudden Calafiori has that role, and then Saliba's pushing into midfield, and I think Saliba's obviously good enough to do that. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I swear he did play a few games in as that defensive midfielder role when he was out on loan. Might be wrong with that, but if not, he's
not
definitely
sure.
good, definitely good enough to play that sort of role, which is just great to see that no matter the situation of the game, we always have something that we can rely on. And uh,
Yeah,
just
for
on
sure.
that Prague press, that first 20 minutes, do you think it was more us being a bit slow because there's more a lot of B team players, or do you give credit to Prague in the way that they pressed?
Well, I honestly think that Prague were just very, I don't know, pragmatic probably isn't the right word, but they were very drilled. They knew exactly what they were doing. They were forcing the ball in areas that we couldn't really cope with. So I think it was a mixture of both, probably. Um, but the thing that I would say is that we've seen it being a theme, really, of Arsenal of late, without Martin Odegaard, of which we've touched on many, many times, that when he's not playing, we seem to not gauge the tempo of games quickly enough, and we are relying on a set piece action to break the deadlock and to then force the opposition into a shape that suits us more. I feel like you see with other teams, they have those players who play inside. You look at Man City, the Rayan Cherkis, the Phil Fodens, those types of players, previously De Bruyne and David Silva, who can play, and Bernardo, of course, who can play inside the block, who can receive the ball in those areas, turn and force an action. And I don't know, I think that Eze is that type of player to a certain extent. and Odegaard is certainly that type of player. Winieri also that type of player. But because of the way that we play with Deckers usually as a number 8, having one instead of two of those type of players playing in that position, I think does limit us slightly with that specific game state when teams want to sit back and block the middle spaces. We need those ball players in there to be able to really manipulate the space better. It's not necessarily Decker's strength, but if we don't have those players, you have to find another way to break the deadlock, which we consistently do at the moment, whether it be a set piece or, I mean, it was a corner that led to a penalty, which led to the first goal, which obviously we can touch on as well. What did you make of the whole penalty situation, the referee's decision not to give it and not to see it, and then his ability to just look at a screen for 5 seconds and change his mind?
I mean, I've said it before, but whenever it's a handball in the box, I'm never like, yeah, that's a penalty because we've seen time and time again, some are given, some aren't. I genuinely can sit here and say with 100% confidence, I do not know what the handball rule is anymore, to be honest. VAR, I
Yeah,
swear, has made it so confusing. It's not black and white. It's a very sort of grey area. I think it is a little bit harsh, to be honest. I see that you think that in the Prem it probably wouldn't have been given, and I agree with that. I believe there actually are genuinely different rules compared to Champions League, which I think is just ridiculous. I mean, it's probably the
yeah,
only rule that differs from competition. It's the same sport, it should be the same rules. But yeah, did you think it was a penalty?
harsh, harsh. But if it was given against us, would I really complain? Probably, to me, if I'm being
Yeah.
totally honest. Um, but listen, it hits his hand, and his hand was high, so it is a handball. Although, what I do find interesting is that it hit his head first and then hit his hand.
Yeah.
And when we played against Newcastle,
Yeah.
it hit Gabriel's knee before it hit his hand. And that was the reason why it wasn't given as a handball. So you're right that the rules are different across different competitions, which I don't understand why that is the case, but they are. We got a penalty, and our man Saka dispatched it beautifully.
To be honest, I actually don't think I think the ref thought he messed up afterwards, and once they give the decision, they have to stick with it because they only showed the angle from behind. That was the only one
Yeah,
that he
true.
saw, and you saw the Slavia Praha player who was showing like tapping his head like that, saying to the ref. I feel like at that point, the ref's never going to change his mind. So, I mean, I don't know why they don't show the other angle, but anyway, we take it, I guess, and beautiful penalty from Saka, I guess. Keep dive the right way, still got it
Yeah.
in. We haven't had too many penalties this season, so it's good to see if we can score
No,
them
they've all
in
been
tough away
overturned.
games.
That's
So
that's the problem. They've all been overturned, haven't they?
yeah,
So yeah, no, it was good to see Saka get back on the score sheet. You know,
yeah,
he's been quiet the last couple of weeks. I think I mentioned it in a previous pod that he hasn't really turned up to the party yet, but um, he's just a top player, isn't he? And you know, he was pretty ice cold under the pressure of which he hasn't been in previous years, as Arsenal and England fans, of course, know. So yeah, no, whenever he lines up for a penalty, I do get a little bit nervous because I just
mm-mm.
think of that Euros final
Euros,
or
yeah,
I mean, there was another big penalty that he missed for Arsenal. Was it West Ham when we were
yeah,
2-0 up?
yeah,
And that was to make it 3-0. And they ended up drawing. And that was one of the games that we threw away in our title charge in 2023, 24, I
yeah.
think. Um, so, so yeah. What else do you think of the game? Obviously, the classic, they only had one shot on target, which was quite a tame effort. Um, yeah, another defensive masterclass from the boys. Yeah, what did you think about it?
It was just a job done sort of performance. I mean, in previous seasons, we might choke that game. To be honest, I'm thinking back
Yeah,
to previous seasons, and like that's a game that's such a draw, sort of 1-0 sort of loss sort of game. So to go there and win comfortably 3-0, I didn't give them much credit. To be honest, I thought we were only going to win 1-0. It was going to be a bit scrappy, but I think we controlled the game. And that shot on target, I believe it was in like the 95th minute or something that
yeah,
they got it. So yeah, wasn't too worried to be honest at all. But yeah, moving on to the second half, and 1 minute in, Merino, fourth choice midfielder, striker. And before we get into it, I have to look down the lens and say, Mikel, I'm deeply sorry for not trusting you to start this game. Obviously, I was calling for Harry Mendes to start this game, but I've been proven wrong. He needs to start against Sunderland, I believe.
yeah.
I mean, none of our strikers will be back, so he has to start. But yeah, I just have to say an apology because wow, what a performance! That first finish, so comfortable.
So comfortable. And before we really delve into Mikel Merino, because we are going to do a little segment on him, can we talk about the ball from Trossard? And
Mm.
I think just more generally, Trossard, he's not necessarily the first name on the team sheet. And I genuinely do believe that when our squad is fit, he probably won't get as many minutes. But his contributions to Arsenal since he's come, and he's come for a very small fee. Was it in January? It was like 20 something million. It really wasn't that much when we wanted Mudryk, and obviously Chelsea went out and bidded over 100 million for him. I guess the joke's on them now. And we ended up with Trossard. I just want to read a few statistics for you because it's really, really impressive. Obviously, this season he's played 13 games. He's scored 3 goals and got 4 assists. It's pretty impressive considering he hasn't started every game. But his total for Arsenal is he's played 137 times for Arsenal. He's scored 31 goals and got 27 assists. That's 58 goal contributions in 137 games, which is 1 goal contribution every 2.36 games. That's very, very impressive.
Has he played 137 games for Arsenal?
Yeah, in all competitions, that is. Yeah.
Wow, that's a lot more than I thought, but that's really, really impressive. I mean, considering he was someone that always came off the bench, and it seemed like that first full season that he had, every time he came off the bench, he did something, he impacted the game. So it's
100%.
great to see that he's starting to, once he starts the games, because we were saying just a few weeks ago that Fulham game wasn't his best game, but he got the goal. We were saying that he was better off the bench, but he might be our best left winger at the moment. I know you're a big Eze advocate, but obviously Mikel doesn't like using him in that position. It seems like he's going to play him in the 10. So as for now, Trossard that's his spot.
Well, that's the best thing about our squad at the moment is that, Martinelli as well, when he was fit, was coming on and doing the business. The squad level has just raised in every position. We look a lot more competitive and our players are really delivering when it matters. Fair play to him. Mikel Merino.
We have to talk. We have to talk about it. I mean, what did you think?
I've just got to say, just a more general point. He is the most confusing footballer I've ever seen play for Arsenal. I still don't know if he's good because we bought him as a central midfield player, and he seems to be so slow on the turn. He seems to have every bit of time in the world, and usually gets caught out when he's playing in a midfield position. We get, I don't know, Jesus and Havertz get injured at the end of last season. He comes in, he scores 9 goals in all competitions, looks better as a striker than he does as a central midfield player. And then this season he comes in, he scored really important goals again. Obviously, two against Prague. He scored the header to get us back in the game against
they were good goals
against
really
Newcastle.
Goals. Yeah.
But the thing is about Mikel Merino is what you can't, I guess, deny is just a raw talent. Like he's a very talented footballer. Like technically, his ability to strike a ball could be up there with the best in the squad, to be honest. He doesn't need a lot of chances to put the ball in the back of the net. And he seems to always be in the right position. So it's so strange. I don't know what you think, but I'm just happily surprised.
He's so good at those one-touch finishes. Like a lot of players might take a touch there and then maybe get tackled by the defender, but the way he just caresses it into the corner, like he always seems to just find that little pocket of space right in the corner, which just lobs in. I mean, that header, I think the goalkeeper should have done better, but just being in that spot and being able to just flick it and know where it's going to go, like we've seen it against Newcastle. He did the same thing. He's so good at just guiding the ball into the net, and that's such a good attribute to have. I just want to mention as well.
Not just with sorry to interrupt, but not just with his head, with his feet as well. Like you think of his his goal against Real Madrid in the Champions League.
Yeah.
That third goal to put us 3-0 up was at home. Yeah, and the ball comes back, strike, first time goal.
Yeah,
it's interesting.
I mean, he's just brilliant. But what I was going to mention before was you were saying that I mean Arsenal have a history of this. You were saying that we bought him as sort of that left 8, maybe plays a 6 position. But when we bought him, I was like, oh yeah, Spain international. I mean, fresh off the Euros, he's going to slot into that left number 8 perfectly. But he ended up sort of being a bit part sort of player. But then at the end of the season, injury crisis, plays a striker. But it actually does remind me a little bit of Havertz. When we got Havertz, he was intended to play in that left 8 position. Obviously, I feel like everyone's forgotten that. Like he is a flop in some sense because we bought him for that position. But he's not a flop in the way that he's played so good as a striker. And I feel like it's kind of similar to Merino as well. What do you think of that?
Yeah, no, listen, it's good analysis. I feel like with Havertz, he has played in a nine before, like at Chelsea and
Yeah,
even at
true.
Leverkusen, and he's more of a like a Rom Deuter type of 10. Like he's a second striker as opposed to a left number eight. So yeah, no, I was. I'll be honest with that with the Havertz one. When we signed him, I was very, very surprised. Like I was
Same.
very surprised, especially with the fee and his wages. And I thought that that money could have been better spent elsewhere. But when he came into the number nine position after Christmas, after Jesus went down, he was unstoppable almost. He was amazing, which was probably why in that summer we didn't go out and buy another number nine until obviously we bought in Gyökeres. But I guess with Merino, it's slightly different. I think that Merino, I expected to like when we bought him, I was like, I can see that. You looked at his like duel numbers, and he was like the number one jeweler in the top five European leagues, and
Arteta loves
everyone
the
was like,
draw as well. Yeah.
well, exactly that. So that's the type of midfielder I thought. I thought we were getting a more Xhaka-like replacement than what Havertz was when Merino came in. And in some ways, they are quite similar. You look at his leadership skills and the way he carries himself. You could tell that like out of all the squad, like maybe last year, you would say probably Jorginho will go on to be a coach the season before, maybe Xhaka. But I can really see Mikel Merino going on to being a coach. The way he sees the game, the classic Spanish coach who was a player and is now a coach. I can see that
Same
happening.
name
So
as Arteta as well.
exactly, he's a very
Destined
very
to be.
smart player,
Yeah.
very smart player, and I think that's probably why he finds himself in those areas often, and he's able to sort of his brain works so quickly. He's able to understand the situation and just perform the action that's needed.
Mm.
Saying that, saying that he wouldn't be my first choice as our left sided number eight, just because of I just when his back's face to goal, I'm not sure he's quite quick enough at sort of turning and going. But more of Marino, I think that the type of player that he is in the fact that he's scoring all these goals for us. To win titles, you need players who are capable of doing that. I go back to, I don't know, Chelsea teams in the past, and they had Gudjonsson who was putting away goals for them. Pedro more recently, Andre Schürrle, even Man United, like Ole Gunnar Solskjaer scoring goals, Paul Scholes scoring goals, Scholes goals, classic. And yeah, Man City had what Dzeko and I don't know Balotelli. I know they were traditional number nines, but obviously Aguero was their number one striker at the time. So these guys come in and they just bag goals, and those goals add up. And in seasons where the strength and depth of other teams' squads are so high, you need players that can come on at short notice and just score goals. It doesn't matter how well they play. So that I think argument sort of works for Marino and Trossard.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, they're sort of like the unsung heroes of the squad. Like at the end of the season, people are going to be talking about the Sakas, the Odegaards, Gabriel, Raya, but really, in a way, it's actually these other sort of players like Trossard, Marino, Calafiori coming up with some goals that actually win you titles. I mean, we've seen it in the past when we haven't had depth, we haven't won the titles because we've had a big player get injured and then no one really steps up to the plate, like to replace
Yeah.
Odegaard or Saliba or whatever. But like you need those players. They're so crucial. So I'm so glad we have depth in our squad this year. It's a luxury to have, really.
100%, 100%. And I don't know, it tells me a lot. Like his second goal does tell me a lot. Obviously, great ball by Rice, but it's a lot of a desire to go for that ball because I think most players don't even challenge,
Yeah.
and like you just think the keeper's going to catch it. It's going to be a classic normal save, but that was it was a really really well earned goal, and yeah, 8 games, 8 clean sheets in a row. That's a record for Arsenal. So I think the record's been there since 1903. So
I
it's
think
like
if we get
well
one
over
against Sunderland, it's the new club record, I believe, right?
yeah, exactly that. Like that's over 100 years of I don't know of history that's been made. So it's a serious accolade and credit to everyone involved. I think that Arteta mentioned after the game that it wasn't even the record that's so impressive. It was the way that the players were talking in the change room about things that they still need to improve, even though they only conceded one goal. Um,
Hmm.
so yeah, no, super impressive, and it really does say a lot about the way this team love defending, and we've definitely spoken about it in depth in previous pods. So yeah, go check out our other pods if you haven't already.
Yeah,
Um,
it's just brilliant. And I do want to touch on their penalty that they got given because as soon as I saw that penalty given, like I was like, it felt like we were losing for a second. I don't know what it was. Like I wanted that clean sheet so bad, and I felt so bad for Ben White as well because he hasn't played much this season. And if it was his fault, like I feel like people would have gone in on him a little bit, which is so harsh. But I'm so glad it wasn't given. It was never a penalty as well. Good tackle by White actually to get his foot that high and get the ball first. So never a penalty for me. I assume you're the same.
Yeah, no, 100%. Well, I also feel like, for those who don't know, like in my playing days, I was a midfielder. I'm a midfielder, and Cal, you're a striker. So the defensive side of the game for us is definitely not a more natural thing to really think about. So the
Yeah.
fact that we are literally getting upset whenever we concede a shot, it really
Yeah.
does say a lot about the state of Arsenal at the minute. It's amazing. Like I'm genuinely finding myself. I was looking at the stat shots on
Yeah.
target. Like I was looking at them protecting the goal in the best way possible. And the best thing about it is it's all of them. It's literally from the number 9 all the way to the keeper. They are desperate to not concede chances. And yeah, I think that's really going to have us in good stead, like going forward. Um,
Yeah, for sure. I mean, speaking of that, should we get into some player ratings? Obviously, I already did mine on TikTok last night, so you guys are going to have to go over there and give us a view if you want to see mine. But we'll hear George's today because I'm very interested to hear what you have to think. But yeah, show's yours.
okay, David Raya. I mean, he has the best seat in the house as a spectator, doesn't he, over the last 8 games? Um, yeah, didn't have to do much. 7 out of 10 for
He
me,
did make that
probably.
one mistake though.
Yeah, okay, maybe a 6.5 out of 10, but it seems
Still clean
harsh.
sheet. Yeah, it is harsh. I agree with 7.
Um, Hincapié, I was really impressed with Hincapié. I don't know what you think. I mean, we can touch on him more if you'd like, but I thought he was just like he was sort of everywhere.
Yeah, and I love the fact he's not afraid to just get up in people's faces like that Troy guy on it's not Sparta Prague, Slavia Prague. He's an absolute madman. I don't know if you
Yeah.
heard, but he's suspended in the Czech league for 6 games because I'm pretty sure. Oh, what did he do? I saw the video, but pretty sure he like kicked someone in the testicles like while they're on the ground or something like
No
that.
way.
He's
I
been,
haven't
he's just
seen
I
that.
don't know how he's even allowed in the Champions League, but obviously he went off injured, so a bit of karma for him. But yeah, he's that guy's a madman.
Oh, love him. Love him. I think he might be the
And it's
first
so good to
Ecuadorian.
see sorry?
Is he the first Ecuadorian who's played for Arsenal?
I believe so. I have to,
He's from Ecuador, isn't he? Yeah, I'm pretty
yeah, and
sure.
I actually made a mistake. I said Matt Ryan the other week was the only Australian. Apparently, there's some other guy in the 60s, so I've forgotten his name, so I
Okay.
feel even worse now. So I apologize. But yeah, he could be the only Ecuadorian. I'm trying to think. Can't really think of anyone else.
Yeah.
I'll get
Yeah.
back to you on
Well,
that. I'll have to search it up
love
now.
it. Love him already. As I told you in the previous pod, he gives me Gabriel Paulista vibes in terms of
Yeah,
just how aggressive he is. So I'll give him probably a 7.5 out of 10. Um, Gabriel, yeah, just a monster, isn't he? He gets an 8 out of 10 for me. I thought it was a really impressive performance from him. Saliba, yeah, 7 out of 10, just standard, really, really, really good performance. Timber, yeah, just world class player. Um, 8 out of 10. I thought Norgard actually had a good game.
yeah.
I thought it was one of his better games. He'd get a 7 out of 10 from me as well. Declan Rice, I'd probably go with an 8. He got an assist
Oh, we
for.
didn't even mention it, but I was so scared. I was stressed the whole game. I was like, what? Arteta brought on 3 players. I'm like, take Rice off, take Rice off. What are we doing? He didn't come off to like the 82nd minute or something. It was stressing me out, man. Honestly,
But
we need
doesn't
him
but
for
doesn't
Bayern
that
Munich.
100%? But doesn't that tell you a lot about how much trust he has in how much trust Arteta has in Rice to not
Yeah.
make a big tackle? And because in Europe it's so easy to give away, like get a booking. You saw like Mars Lewis Skelly comes on
Oh,
and
that
he
ref
challenged
today.
he challenged the ball, and I actually thought it was just a 50-50. No one really won the ball and he got booked for it. I was like, I can't believe that. So
I need
fair
to
play to
mention the
Rice.
ref. I need to mention the ref as well because I thought he slowed the game down so much. It was ridiculous. I feel like he wanted to get the cards out, and that's why there was that point of like 15 minutes at the end where he wasn't afraid. He just whipping them out and out. There was one point when Norgard got a yellow card from the screen, especially at 5 a.m. when you're a little bit tired. Norgard and Rice, they do look similar, like playing. Because I looked up and I saw someone was getting a yellow card. I was like, oh my God, no, it's Rice. And I saw Norgard and I was like, yes, so satisfying.
Oh, Yeah, no, that's so true. That's so true. And like he's going to be such a big player for us in that Munich game, which I believe is at the Emirates. I think it's at home. So massive that we have him for that,
Huge
and
game.
hopefully Zubimendi will be back as well. Um, Ethan Munieri, Ethan Munieri. I thought he was good. Yeah, he was decent. Probably a 7 out of 10. Like, didn't do anything particularly special, but he's always buzzing around and he's a bit of a threat. Um, he's getting a lot better off the ball, I think. But I do think that he does tend to give the ball away
Mm.
slightly more than I would like from someone in his position. Um, yeah, moving on. Saka, yeah, scored a goal, defended really well. Wasn't special, but was pretty good. 8 out of 10. Mikel Merino has to get a 9 out of 10 for me. Again, didn't perform that well, but
Mm.
you get a brace and you work hard defensively, and we win the game with a clean sheet. You get a 9 out of 10 from me. Trossard, yeah, he would also get an 8 out of 10 from me. Um, Moving on to the subs, trying to think who came on.
Ben White.
Lewis Ben White came on, looked pretty sharp. 7 out of 10. Lewis Skelly came on. Can't really judge because of the lack of minutes. So I'll give him a 6 out of 10.
Dowman.
Max
Youngest
Dowman.
youngest Champions
Max
League.
Dowman.
Broke the
Yeah.
record. Broke the record.
Amazing. The
First
youngest
15-year-old to play in
Champions
the
League.
Champions League, actually.
Yeah, the youngest
Yeah.
Champions League player of all time. What a talent! I mean, you just saw with his first touch, he just decides to
Mm.
start dribbling at them, and the amount of fouls he won in the short time he was on the pitch. It's just, yeah, he's a proper talent. I'm so excited to see what he can do without trying to put too much pressure on him. But yeah, like his balance, the way he sort of just waits for the exact right time to maneuver the ball before he gets fouled. He's just so smart for his age. It's ridiculous. Harriman and Noose came on, didn't he?
Yep.
Yeah, he did all right. He didn't really do much, to be honest. Probably a 6 out of 10.
I like his movement a lot, though. It sort of reminds me. I know Nketiah wasn't the greatest player for us, but I feel like Nketiah's movement was quite good.
You're a
Just
big Noose fan, aren't you? I can tell.
I
You want
am.
him to
I think
start.
he's brilliant. I mean, his movement, like he's got really good potential. I think.
Yeah, he's a youngster, man. He's 17 years old, so he's got a lot of room for improvement and a lot of potential. And yeah, I think the best thing that we can do with our young players is just not put pressure on them. Um, since like Saka and Smith Rowe, like they've had such, I don't know, like a weight of every Arsenal fan on them, and you just want to take the pressure off. Um, who else came on?
Eze,
Eze came
last
on.
one. Yep.
Yeah, Eze came on. Yeah, he was bright. He didn't do too much, but yeah, listen, I love Eze. He gets a 7.5 out of 10 from me. Um, I know we weren't going to do this previously, but I reckon we should jump into the weekend because it's
Okay.
honestly for me, like it's actually one of our biggest games of the season.
Yep.
Right
It
before an
is.
international break, away at the Stadium of Light, massive game. Obviously, Granit Xhaka. I love Granit Xhaka.
Same.
His come up story and his comeback story is incredible. I was actually at the game when he told the fans to, you know what,
Oh, Palace game.
yeah, the Palace game,
Yeah.
and what he did for us in that 2022-23 season alongside Zinchenko and Martinelli. I thought he was unbelievable, honestly unbelievable. And then he went to obviously to Leverkusen and won the league unbeaten with them
Yeah.
under Xabi Alonso, and is now back in the Premier League with Sunderland, and they're flying in the Premier League. They're doing brilliantly.
Yeah.
And they've
I
got a
mean,
lot of dangerous players that can hurt us for sure.
yeah. And I mean, I was so confused by that signing when I saw Granit Xhaka to Sunderland. I had to blink a few times to make sure it was real. It came out of left field, really, because I mean, to be honest, I didn't really keep up with Bayer Leverkusen besides that unbeaten season because it was hard not to look at. But
Yeah.
when he moved to Sunderland, I was like, what is he not being rated by Xabi Alonso or what? It was so random. But Sunderland,
Well,
um,
Xabi Alonso obviously went to Real Madrid, so
yeah.
that could be right. Why?
Oh, true. Yeah. Yeah.
And also like from what I've heard him say, he just wanted like another challenge,
He
and
wanted
that's
to
totally fair enough.
struggle, I think, which I rate
Yeah,
that. I respect that. Yeah, a
yeah,
lot.
no, 100%. And I guess we can delve a little bit into Sunderland's recent form. They've got 3 wins out of their last no. what's that? 3 wins out of their last four.
Wow.
They've 3 wins and a draw out of their last five. So their last game they drew to Everton. They beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge.
Wow.
They beat Wolves at home, and they lost to United. Their only losses against United at Old Trafford. But obviously they went away to Forest and also won 1-0. So yeah, they're a very, very good team. I mean, they sit pretty high in the Premier League. Are they third? I'm pretty sure they're third. They could be third,
Fourth now. Just in
They're
goal
fourth
difference.
now.
So.
You're right. And
Yeah.
yeah, no, I'm confident as you have to be really, but at the same time, you got to be skeptical about this game. We have to go into the international break having won, especially considering that City are playing against Liverpool. So someone's going to drop points in that game. What do you think about, I guess, Sunderland, maybe the way they play, players that you might be slightly nervous about, or players that we need to worry about maybe?
Honestly, I do not know much about Sunderland. I mean, they're a team that come up from the Championship. I don't really keep up with the Championship, to be honest. I don't know if you do, but whenever a new team comes up, they're always a surprise for me. I never know what to expect. Same with
Yeah.
Burnley, obviously a little bit different because Burnley have been in the Premier League a few times in recent years, so we're kind of used to seeing them. But Sunderland, they haven't been in the Prem for almost 8-10 years now. So I mean, it's good to see them back. I think it's good for the Premier League because they're sort of that classic Premier League team rivalry with Newcastle. It's always good to have extra derbies, but yeah, obviously Granit Xhaka is probably one of their main threats. I mean, captain, such a good leader.
Yeah.
Shout out to
I
Ballard
think he's
as
got
well.
three. Yeah, Dan Ballard, of course. Yeah, I think he's got
Ex-Arsenal, yeah.
three assists there, Xhaka, and he scored in their last game as
Scored his
well.
first goal, yeah. So obviously
Yeah,
he's always a threat. I don't know if Arteta knows his weaknesses, so maybe we can block him out in the midfield. It might be easy, but I mean, it's going to be a tough away game, and I think this is, as you said, one of our most important games as well because it's just one game left. If we can get through this game with a win, I think coming up with that really hard run after the break, it will do us really well, I think.
yeah, and obviously they've got a few other players who have been pretty good so far. Isidore up top, who scored 4 already in the Premier League. They've got I think Bertrand Traore is at them. They've got a few just
Oh, is he?
yeah, I think so. I'm sort of having a look at their squad list now, and I'm trying to sort of recognize a few of their players who, yeah, can cause us. They've signed very well. That's what I will say. That they've signed very well. I think Diarra in the center of the park's a really good player.
Oh, they got Brian
Rob,
Brobby.
yeah, Brian Brobby, who was previously of Ajax, scored the goal against Chelsea. I know Mayenda, I think he scored one of the goals in the Championship playoff final. And obviously Adingra
Oh yeah, yeah.
from Brighton previously. So
And
they've got
the
they've
goalkeeper
got
as
a lot
well.
of players.
Roof's been quality this season
He-
as well. So
yeah, he's had a great time. I think they've only conceded 8 goals in the Premier League.
oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah, their average ball possession is 44.5%. So that could tell you maybe a little bit about how they might play against us. My gut will tell me that they're going to let us have the majority of the ball, which is fine. They play, I think, they'll play in the back five against
Yeah,
us,
another back five.
5-4-1. Yeah, the classic. So I think from us, what I expect is the same as usual. Yeah, so having a quick look at the way Sunderland play, obviously in the last couple of games, they've been in a 5-4-1. Previously, they played a 4-2-3-1. But my gut will tell me that they'll go into that back five. That obviously we know very well. Obviously, we forgot actually to mention Mukiele, who was at PSG previously. I think
Oh, really?
I want to say as well. Yeah, so he plays in that right centre back spot
Okay.
with Dan Ballard in the centre. But yeah, no, they look pretty threatening. They could really hurt us on the counter attack if we're not careful. I'm still confident. You've got to be, although us not having a proper number 9 is slightly concerning, just because I feel like at some point they will try and press us in certain areas and win the ball back. So just having someone that can naturally stretch the pitch is always something that I prefer. And if obviously we don't get it from our number 9, then you'd want it from a wide player, and we don't have Martinelli as well. Hopefully, actually, no, to be fair, maybe we will, but I'm pretty sure that he won't be back till after the international
Nah,
break.
yeah.
Um, so, so yeah, it means that we sort of already know what lineup is going to come, but why not? Let's do our suggested or predicted 11.
Sure. I feel
So
like we're gonna have the same sort of one.
quite
So
possibly, quite possibly. Let's see.
I'll
We haven't
just
had
say
one
I'll
before.
just say it, and then you call me out if you think someone else should be there. But in
Perfect.
goal, I'm gonna go for Tommy Setford. No, no.
If you had gone with Raya, I would have been like, no, no, sorry, I don't want that there.
No.
Off you
But
go,
Kepa's
David
injured
Raya.
anyway. Actually, I didn't even.
Yeah, the
But
amount of injuries is
I
unbelievable,
know.
which we can touch on afterwards as well.
Where
But
did
off
Kepa
you go.
even? How did that Kepa injury even happen? We don't
No
know.
idea.
But anyway, so in goal, we've got David Raya, of course. Right back, Timber, Saliba, Gabriel, Calafiori, of course. Is Zubimendi going to be back?
I believe so.
Okay,
Yes.
we'll go for Zubimendi, Rice, Eze, Saka, Trossard, and Mikel Merino up front.
Yeah, that would be the 11 that I would think that Arteta would go with as well. Um, and probably the 11 that I would pick based on just the current situation. I mean, we can touch on the current situation. It is unbelievable the amount of injuries that we
I
get.
know.
I know every other team gets injuries, and I know it's something we've whinged about last year, and then we can't use it as an excuse now not to win because we've got this incredible squad. But we've got like 6 injured attackers. Like
I know.
it's not like
We're not
they've been
actually
spread
complaining though.
evenly.
It's not like previous seasons where it is kind of excuse and we're complaining and people take the piss out of us. Like we're just making a statement. We do have a lot of injuries, but we have enough to cover it. But it's just so interesting how we have so many injuries, but it's not really actually like talked about that much compared to previous
No.
seasons.
Well, both it's not talked about because of just how well we're doing defensively and we're winning games, but also because I don't know, I feel like they want to talk about how boring we play. There's other things that the media want to talk about when it comes to Arsenal at the moment. So yeah, they're not going to talk about the injuries, but don't you find it crazy that all our injuries are sort of in the same area of the pitch?
Yeah,
Like not only the same area of the pitch, like we've got 4 knee injuries at the same time. And then we've
yeah,
had quite a few hamstring injuries as well. Obviously, Saka being out with his hamstring, Martinelli, I think, is out with his hamstring. Gyökeres is out with his hamstring. The other lads out with knee injuries. It's crazy. It's absolutely mental. And listen, we talk about it every week. And when these players come back, and if they come back, and hopefully they'll be back for the Northumberland derby after the international break, we'll look like a totally different team. But that stresses the importance to me to get to this international break with another win on the board.
of course. And speaking of wins, scores, what is your score prediction for Sunderland away?
I'm going to go with 1-0. 1-0
Oh,
Arsenal.
I was going to go 1-0 as well, but we have a rule and pick the same one. So I'm going to go 2-0. 2-0 Arsenal.
Okay. Okay. I'm going to go with 1-0. I think Mikel Merino is going to score again because
Okay.
why not? And I don't think it's going to be a set piece. Believe it or not, I don't.
Okay.
What about you? Who do you think the goal scorer is going to be?
I'm feeling a Trossard goal. I don't know.
Okay.
I'm just getting the vibe. I mean, 2-0, obviously. I want a 1-0, but Trossard and I'm going to go a bit rogue. I reckon like maybe a Rice header or something like that. I'm
Okay.
gonna go for it, yeah. So
Love it.
Trossard and Rice, that's our score prediction and predicted scores as well. I believe that's
Just
everything.
before,
Okay, go
just
on.
before we finish,
Yeah.
I want to ask you what you think of the City Liverpool game, and I guess who would you prefer to win? Obviously,
Ooh.
City currently sitting on 19 points, Liverpool on 18. It's at the Etihad. Um, yeah, I can give you my opinion afterwards, but I'm interested to hear what you think of that game and I
Okay.
guess who you think is going to win and yeah, all that
But
jazz.
who I think is gonna win? Did you say it's at the Etihad?
Yeah,
I feel like it's gonna be a draw. I think a draw is the best result for us, but it's kind of in a weird situation because I remember in previous seasons when we were going for the title and we'd see like when Man City and Liverpool were both also going for the title and they'll play against each other and I'm like, oh, I hope it's a draw because it benefits us. But actually in the long term, that point that City or Liverpool could get could actually make the difference. So
yeah,
weirdly in the short term, it's actually like better if the stronger team by the end of the season actually loses that game. So
Yeah.
it's so hard to say now, but obviously a draw would be the best result for us. But if I had to pick who I prefer to win, I'd probably say Liverpool, just because I think they don't have enough depth in their squad. Obviously, they could improve that in January, but I think City have been kind of underrated this season in the way that they're coming back. But you don't know because they don't look like the same City, obviously in that treble years. So I'm very interested to see what you have to think about that.
Yeah, in terms of who I'd want to win, it would be Liverpool as well.
Mm.
Listen, both of them top teams, and if anyone can sort of turn it around, you saw what Liverpool did to Real Madrid midweek,
Oh,
and
true. Yeah, I didn't even mention that. Yeah.
yeah, they're starting to hit form. I think it was Florian Wirtz's best performance in a Liverpool shirt. I think a lot of Liverpool fans will tell you that. So, listen, they've invested so heavily this summer on those top players. Obviously, Isak's been injured and stuff like that. So, yeah, I do agree with you though. I just think that City they have the know-how. They know how
Yeah.
to win leagues. They a lot of City fans will tell you as well that they don't mind not being in the news in terms of
There's
everyone
no
expecting
pressure
them
on
to
them.
win. No pressure right now.
Yeah.
They'll sit behind us, and when it really matters, you know that they'll be there
Click
to
into gear.
win.
Yeah.
And Haaland is just ridiculous what he's doing.
But I
I mean,
mean, you could say, what if Haaland gets injured? I mean, that
totally
he scored pretty
100%.
much all their goals.
Yeah, like, I think 65% of their goals have been scored by
Literally,
Haaland,
yeah.
which is outrageous. Um, but but it's what ifs. I feel like for us, it's what ifs the other way around. What if our players are fit? For them, it's what if they get one injury. And to be fair, like
Mm.
Haaland has got injured in previous seasons, so it's possible. But it doesn't look like that's happening anytime soon, And he doesn't look like he's stopping scoring anytime soon. And on top of that, their attacking players, Foden is hitting good form, scored two great goals in the Champions League this week. Rayan Cherki, oh, what a footballer. I would have loved him at Arsenal. That's technically just ridiculous.
I don't think he has the
Doku,
right attitude, sort of vibe to suit
I, I,
Arsenal, though. I don't know. I just don't think
I don't
Arteta
know.
likes those sort of players. Like we saw what happened with Aubameyang. I don't know. I just
Maybe,
think he's one
but
of those sort of
I,
players. But I
I,
agree. Technically, he's brilliant.
I feel like the best coaches need to be able to deal with the biggest personalities. That would be like, listen, I'm the biggest Mikel Arteta advocate that you've probably ever met. That I haven't met, but you know what I mean. Spoken to, but that would be one of my probably only criticisms of him is that those really big personalities,
Yeah.
he has, with those egos, he hasn't really seemed to go and sign of late, and he's
I'm
got rid
trying to
of them when we
think.
have had them.
Trying to think who in our squad really is that sort of. We don't really
None,
have anyone like
none,
genuinely
and that
no one
probably
that's no
and
one
that
that's
probably
like
what
that.
makes it great. That's probably what makes the team cohesion so good.
Mm.
But saying that sometimes those type of players just win you titles and
The
win you
wild
games.
card. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and maybe Calafiori is probably the only one who could be
Maybe a
talked about in
Gabriel.
that way.
Maybe because
Maybe
the
I
way he
don't
turns
know.
up. Maybe Hincapie. I mean, we saw him.
Maybe,
Yeah, he could be
maybe,
that sort of
maybe.
player. But
But they're not
uh,
the same as your Zlatan Ibrahimovic's and
oh
your
yeah, no.
your Rayan Cherkis and the Aubameyangs, that
Douglas
type of
Costa,
player. Yeah,
Balotelli.
those type of players who
I
can
mean, I
just
love those.
do
Honestly,
it.
I love those sort of players. They're always so entertaining. But I just don't. I don't think it's what Arsenal need right now. To be honest, maybe in the
Maybe
future.
not,
But
maybe not. I think my point is that when it comes to City, you can never really rule them out,
yeah,
and they're just a serious force. And and yeah, they're the team that I'd want to lose that game. I don't think they will. I think they'll win at a canter. I think they'll win 2 or 3-0. To be honest with you, I just think that Liverpool's defensive unit is exposed far too often during games, and I think
mm.
that the best teams will punish them, especially at home. And I think you give Haaland one chance and he'll score one goal. So
And they're fresh off
um,
a big win as well against
yeah,
Dortmund, 4-1, I believe. So in good nick at
yeah,
the moment. So I
3-1,
wouldn't be
4-1. Yeah,
surprised.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah. So that's what I think. I mean, listen, the most important thing for us is that we go and win, regardless of what happens in that game. Um, Massive weekend for us, massive game, Stadium of Light. You've heard our predictions, you've heard our team selection. Um, I guess that's where we can wrap up today. What do you reckon?
yeah, sounds good. We just want to say, of course, thank you so much for the support, guys. It's been brilliant. We're here every week talking about the game. We love it. I hope you guys love it as well. So, obviously, we're on Spotify now. So make sure to rate that 5 stars. We'll put the episodes up on there as well if you don't want to see us, as always. But yeah, have a good day, Gooners.